I'll start by giving some background on our topic here. It is Film Doesn't Lie, how Valaris is using video after action review to improve offshore safety. And this is one of our ways we feel like we're empowering our crews to learn from normal work. So a little bit of background on Valaris' safe systems of work and how we perform work offshore. Some of the key components here, we have a robust work instruction management system. So this is where pretty much for every job we have step-by-step instructions on how to do that work, the barriers that we need to put in place to control risk, the people we need involved in the job, the PPE, things like this. We also have a permit to work system, an electronic permit to work system to manage that high hazard work, which may include energy isolation. And then we have a job safety analysis process like many in the room have. And this is where we have that open-ended conversation with our work crews to discuss what the hazards might be, what the job steps are, how we're going to manage those hazards. And then finally, last line of defense, everybody's empowered with and obligated to use the stop work authority if they see something that's unsafe. Look a little more into that job safety analysis process, very similar to what many in the industry follow, but we have a preparation process where we'll gather our team, our paperwork, our work instruction. Then we'll have that impactful JSA conversation where we talk about those job steps. We assign barriers to personnel. We talk about their roles, what we're going to do to prevent harm and how to perform the job. Then we go execute that job. And then finally, like many JSA processes, we ask the work crews to do an after-action review. And that is to ask what went right, what maybe didn't go so well, and to find ways to improve that job. So let's look a little bit more at that. At Valaris, we do ask the crews to do this after each job. What went well, what were the key successes, and then we give them some prompts about what could be improved here. Was it team selection? Was it PPE? Was it being out of the line of fire? Were there tools or equipment that we might need to change out? Maybe we need to update that work instruction so the next time we do that job, we can identify that hazard and do things a little bit better. But the reality is, after a long, hard job or a long, hard day, we really don't get a lot out of these. And really, the expectations don't meet reality for several reasons. First and foremost, humans have a recollection problem. Like we don't necessarily remember what went wrong. Or it's difficult to see weak signals during that job. And maybe that's because of familiarity, right? We've done the job a lot. We've been successful a lot. Nothing ever went wrong. So if there was no incident, there must not be anything to learn from that situation. Or there could be normalization of deviation. During jobs, especially common jobs, you might find little shortcuts that creep in over time, especially with experienced crews. And then over time, you start drifting away from excellence on that job. And these little gaps over time, it just becomes normal, and you don't recognize that you have drifted from excellence, and you can't even see those poor behaviors. They're not standing out anymore to us. So that, coupled with the fact that some crews may feel they don't have that psychological safety, they don't have that speak-up culture, there's a fear of blame. There might be a fear of challenging the process, especially if you're new to the crew or you're a junior person working offshore. And look, let's be honest, we don't like to tell on ourselves, okay? We just don't like to raise our hand and say, yep, I stuffed it up right there. I want to make sure this doesn't happen again to the next crew. That's kind of a hard behavior to get out of ourselves. And so we had to find a better way to engage with crews, engage with the junior crews, and teach them that, hey, it's okay to recognize faults in our processes and to bring those up and talk about them. So as a result of these things, we do see that with the traditional after-action review, you might have limited engagement. Usually it's been a hot, long, hard day, and folks aren't really in the mood to talk about ways to improve things, and they don't really hit home with people. You might have some pushback that, no, that improvement doesn't make sense, or I don't think it's a good idea. And of course, we've always heard, but that's the way we've always done it, right? Why should we change it? And, you know, traditionally as an industry, we really have only learned whenever something goes wrong in the past, and that's why you hear this big push around learning from normal work. And if you don't do that, if you rely on the traditional after-action review, you might have missed learning opportunities, and then those latent hazards still remain. So our solution was to implement a process called video after-action review, where we're involving the crews to really learn from normal work and look at it. We call it Film Doesn't Lie because really film does not lie. It is an objective record of the work. And much like a sports team might look at film after the game or even during the game now, you see them on the sidelines with their little tablets looking at the last play. We want to look at our last play, the last time we did a certain job, and try to learn from that and scrutinize it and look for learning opportunities. So for us, this is our way to learn from normal work. As I mentioned, normally the industry would just learn when something went wrong. But what about when things go right, or we just got lucky and maybe there was something to learn from that job? Another way we use this, another reason we use it, we feel it helps us build a speak-up culture. We get folks in this room and talk about things in the absence of rig leadership. So it's really just the task leader or the supervisor with their crew and talking through these things together as a team and seeing how they can learn and improve. And you've probably heard it before, we can learn and improve, or we can punish and blame, but we can't do both. So this is our way to try to learn and improve. So with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Ross, and let him tell you a little bit about himself. He's captain of the Valaris DS-18, which is operating in the Gulf of America. And we'll let Ross give his perspective on how video after action review actually and practically works offshore. That button right there, brother.
Thank you. Good morning. Just a little bit about myself. I'm the captain on the DS-18, like you mentioned. I attended SUNY Maritime College, and I've been with Valaris for 12 years now. So I started as a junior crew member, kind of worked my way up the ladder, and now I'm the ultimate work authority on the rig. So I do take ownership. I do know where the guys are coming from down on the junior levels there. And this program here, we're trying to, change the mindset, make it an everyday occurrence where all our people are thinking about safety the same way and keeping each other safe. Before I get into the process, first thing I'll say is thank you to everybody in this room. Me being on the front lines out there with my guys, it's nice to see that all you people are keeping our best interests at heart as your number one priority of keeping us safe out there. So I do appreciate that. That's my goal at any time. We have 160 to 200 people on board. If even one of those personnel gets injured at any point, I've personally failed at my job. So I take it very personal. So the process for our video after action review, why are we doing this? Like Dustin said, it's accuracy. It gives us an accurate, objective representation of the task that we're completing, whether this is a simple routine task or a complicated task. It gives us the ability to dissect it and go through the information and pull any lessons learned from it. It helps our team identify strengths, right? It's always good to build the team up, and we work in any potential gaps for improvement that we may have. And it promotes collaboration. So a lot of times in a hierarchy structure on a ship, it's the captain and the leadership speaking most of the time, promoting the safety culture. And this program really gets the junior crew members involved and gives them a voice to start thinking about safety at a higher level. And then lastly, enhancing planning and the preparation. So we use these videos, they remain on the rig, and we have a library. So if this job comes up again and we have several green hard hats or junior crew members, we can pull these videos up. And obviously anytime you do something, seeing it done visually is going to be easier instead of walking into it blindly. So what is the process? First we're going to pick a job, whether that's a supervisor getting with the guys or something they've been struggling with in the past, whether that's line of fire or body placement. They'll identify that job, they'll prep the area, and they'll go to the job site. We have tripods as well as fixed cameras all around the rig, and they'll press start, and that job will begin, and the video may be 15, 20, 30 minutes long. That'll be dissected through as they do their after-action review. One limitation, obviously anybody that is being filmed may potentially act a different way, so we have seen greater success in the longer videos because people tend to lose the idea that they're being filmed in the longer videos. So we're working on that. The fixed cameras are definitely easier to capture what we want to capture and learn. They will then, supervisor will bring the video in, he'll upload it. He'll do some preparation, he'll read through the policies, what applies to this, come prepared to that meeting. You'll see a short video once I get done here with the crew sitting in the conference room, and they'll review the video there. They'll watch the video, and then they'll kind of self-reflect. All of this is neutral. There's zero blame on anybody. So it's an open forum. Supervisor kind of sits back and lets the guys kind of walk through it, talk through it, and see what went well, what didn't, and learn from those mistakes. And then we have a survey. Obviously, passing of information is always the most important thing. Shame on us if we're not learning from our mistakes. If they happen again, then we have nobody to blame but ourselves for not passing that information on. And then lastly, like I said, we want to highlight best practices. Always good to give positive reinforcement, but we definitely want to find some actionable recommendations, whether that's, like Dustin talked about, our WIMS library, work instruction updates, or just better body placement, or any hazards or dangers, some stuff that may be able to be removed, whether it's a structural component that's providing a crush point somewhere. These are things that we're finding in these videos that we could talk about. So, like I said, the supervisor prepare, lead the discussion. I myself am not allowed in the meeting. We want to provide that platform for our crew to speak up and give any input. Obviously, my door's always open for questions and discussion. It just allows them to get on that higher level to identify gaps and any weaknesses, as well as, talking about the positives. So we use our OILS framework, which if you're not familiar with, that's part of our behavior-based safety program. And it's 4 parts: observed, impact, listen, and suggest. So we observe, and we always stay objective. In this whole process, we're objective, neutral throughout the whole process, just kind of pointing things out as we go. And then we make statements about the impact, what would happen, what could have happened if we did this, how would this have worked out differently. And then we listen, right? We sit down, we listen. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we listen to what everybody has to say. Again, there's no repercussions on any of this, no shaming, so it's worked out well. A bunch of quiet crew members that been impressive to see them kind of take leadership there and speak up. So how often are we doing this? Minimum once per week, depending on the operation. We've done it 2, 3, 4 times. We have used it, like I said, to build that library. If it's a high-risk task that we just want the knowledge base to pass on for the future, of whether it's the rigging for how a piece of equipment is lifted and proper body placement for the guys working around it. It's rotated amongst departments, and it's kind of open there. We will pull other departments in to get a different objective or a different background experience. Say, for example, if the maintenance crew's working on something, a piece of equipment, they've done that 1,000 times, we'll go pull a roustabout and, bring entry-level employee in there, and they may notice something. They have been noticing things that, just complacency has kind of gotten some of our experienced hands in the past. All this stuff will be submitted. Here's our library here. One of the guys will take ownership of the survey. We'll put that in there as well. And again, information is number one here. The big thing here is we have tons of manuals, books, work instructions, tons of information. Can't really beat visual aids and having that ability to read through that. Personally, as the captain on board, I am number one component is culture to me. I found this quote and it kind of sat with me. When people feel safe to share ideas or concerns, innovation and problem solving improve. So just providing that platform where personnel have the ability to speak up really has helped us. We've learned a lot of things along the way. AI tools are great. I mean, we have AI tool on our rig floor for infractions, people in red zones, but it's about the people. We want the people to identify hazards. We want to change the culture. We want everybody thinking the same way to keep our people safe. So it does provide new insight and improvements. There are some limitations, like I said. We don't have 1,000 cameras on board. We have ordered a pile of cameras, and they will be placed strategically around the rig in our highly worked areas to help this program grow. And then with anything, there's recognition, right? Our guys should be recognized for the great work that they do. We use our Valaris High Five Award program. That's our employee recognition program, where pick the best one from each month and reward those guys for their commitment. So, like I said, we're embracing technology is definitely an advantage. This kind of puts the two together, right? We bring it back to the ground level as well while using technology, and then we use it to knowledge sharing. So in summary, it's been a very powerful tool for us. Definitely provides a clear, objective, collaborative framework for us to continuously improve. As I said earlier, number one objective is everybody returns home the same way they came out there. So I hope we continue to use this program. There's been a lot of talk about AI and technology, and it's coming. I'm 33 years old, so generationally I'm ready for it. I think there are benefits to it. I don't think it is everything, though. I think we need to remember, there are people out there, and they are the ones that AI is not going to be able to check their decision in the heat of the moment when they make that decision. So I have a little short video for you here from a couple of my team members on my rig that share a similar outlook for how this program's worked for them.
The Video After Action Review Program is a new way for us to learn, improve, and keep each other safe while working on our rigs. By capturing real video footage from our jobs and reviewing it as a team, we can see exactly how these tasks were carried out, what went well, and where we can do better. The goal isn't to blame or discipline. It's about honest reflection, open discussion, and building trust. In other words, learning from normal work to build psychological safety. Now here's Kenneth Edwards, and Valaris OIM is claiming how they incorporated this program in their operations.
To me, it's a learning tool. It's a team building tool. It's a tool that can be used to implement just about any job you do out there. To the younger guys that's coming on, your green hard hats, your short service employees, things like that. It's a great tool for them. It's also a great tool for the more experienced guys because every day you learn something new. As far as the situation goes, it was kind of up to our guys, our team. They would pick a job to go and do, and that job may have some interest of maybe some unsafe things we'd seen happen in the past. So at that point there, we would set up the cameras, do video it, do an after action review, bring that inside, And then with the video, we would bring the team in, and they would go through and see some things that might have not have went well, things that did go good, things we might need to implement. If we needed to maybe update our work instructions and things like that right there, and preparing for the next time we did it. It was able to pinpoint some positions of people on the rig floor, a better way to position them so we wouldn't get the alarm page. Actually helped that out a lot as far as where people wouldn't be in the red zone, or our system wouldn't pick them up being in the red zone by just repositioning the guys on the rig floor. Once the video action's finished, everybody, you have a round table discussion and all that. We fill out the form, what went well, what didn't go well, somebody take ownership of it. And then for follow-up to make sure if it takes a work instructions update, who's going to get that, who's going to be the one to update the work instruction. And the guys accepted it, they accepted the challenge, they went for the challenge. They seen that it did help them to start off with the newer group of guys that was there, able to share it with the other crews, helped out a lot. You got everybody kind of on the same page at that time. One side's not doing one thing, another crew's doing another thing. I would say that would be a tool that everybody should consider throughout the industry. The after action reviews. It's done us a great job for the time we used it.
All right, thanks a lot, Ross, for sharing your perspective on how the rig's using video after action review to learn and improve. So next steps, we implemented this process back in May, so it still kind of is early days. We're still learning a bit from it and thinking about how we're going to improve it going forward. It currently only is used in our North and Central America operating unit, which includes the U.S., Mexico, and Trinidad, but we are making it available and look to expand it fleet-wide around the world. We're also investigating how we can use AI to help us speed up the planning and preparation process. As Ross mentioned, those supervisors and task leaders put a lot of time ahead of time to be prepared so they can kind of lead that discussion. We think we can maybe use AI to help us speed that up a bit and maybe snip out the key video portions that are needed. That does take a bit of time right now, but we are looking for ways that we can improve that. And certainly, as Russell mentioned earlier, Center for Offshore Safety has recently released a document on building a framework for learning from normal work, and certainly encourage everybody to read that and look how you might implement some of those suggestions, or even this suggestion here for video after action review. We feel it's a really good tool, good learning tool, and a way to improve safety offshore. So with that, thanks a lot for listening. Ross and I can take a couple questions if you'd like. Yes, Seth.
So you may have mentioned it, and I didn't catch it, but so kind of a two-part. One, how long after the task happens that do you do your actual review? And two, is it after tower is off, or is it during the tower?
Yeah, Ross, you want to take this?
So it's open, right? We have the video, so sometimes it's done immediately after, sometimes it's done after tower. So it's open depending. A lot of those ones that are immediate the job's been stopped. We've identified it in person. Now let's go, take a look at it, and we can learn from that. So it is kind of open to all scenarios from that aspect.
Yeah, I don't think it goes beyond a week, though.
No,
Right?
no.
I mean, nothing like that. Yeah.
Well, have you had any feedback if it's done at all tower, or as far as your workforce engaging it?
I mean, it's immediately right after. Not really. Like I said, guys have kind of taken it on. They've been given the voice, so they're not just coming to a room and listening to somebody just talk at them, telling them what they're doing wrong. They're being asked for their opinions, and they're giving their opinions. So it's worked well.
And it is a pretty light time commitment. I think we asked for about 30 minutes
It
max.
doesn't take very
It doesn't
long.
take long. So they may even just watch 5 minutes of video and then 10 minutes of talking, and then it takes 5 minutes to submit the form. So it's really not a huge burden, and it's once a week, so at a minimum. Yeah. Any other questions? Got one in the back there, Brandy.
Yes, so like I said, they'll come in and they'll watch with us as well. Every task that's pretty much completed out there is done with service party. So whether they need a crane lift, they're monitoring their equipment as it's being landed, spotted around the rig. So yes, to answer your question, they are involved.
Good stuff. I don't see anyone else. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I have two quick questions.
Okay.
One is with no rig management allowed in the room, which makes sense for free flowing conversation. How is rig management then? Is it just the survey that informs you the results of the after action?
I'll meet with the supervisor after and just, we'll talk over coffee how to go.
Okay.
What are the findings? We'll see the WIMS updates as they come through our system. We'll get prompted that an update's been created. So
That makes sense. And then the other one is, Dustin, you mentioned, it might be a 2-hour job, but they're only going to watch 5 minutes of video. Who is making that editorial decision about what they actually review in the room?
So believe it or not, a lot of our videos the workload is 20 to 30 minutes and then that job's complete. That's where that preparation comes in. The task supervisor, who's the subject matter expert, will kind of go through it and see. There will be some filler in there, obviously, standing around waiting on crane or waiting on, driller to pick up another joint. So that's where the task leader comes in, and that's where that preparation comes in.
Yeah, and that's where we want to try to use AI to speed that up a bit, because if it is a longer job, we don't want our supervisor just trolling through video trying to find the key points. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our early learnings that's taken the most time.
So for example, we did the one that was in that video was a rescue boat launch, probably a 30-minute job. And the two findings we got out of that was the job's the same every time. The davit doesn't move, the boat goes out the same way. So talking about a rescue plan, we have a specific rescue plan that's set in place so that things don't get missed in the past. And then we found little things kind of to talk about walking and whatnot. If a guy went up to the boat, was focused, tunnel vision on the boat, came back down, wasn't using the trailing hand technique. We've seen slips, trips, and falls downstairs in our industry for forever. And just a simple extra hand on the handrail could prevent that. So there's major findings and little findings, but we're finding findings, which is the purpose of it.
Thanks again. Thank you very much.